welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas, and in this episode we are going to be reviewing the team that finished in 10th place, which was Sauber F1 team. Now Sauber were coming into 2016 off the back of a very good 2015 season compared to 2014 season when they scored no points. So obviously retaining their two drivers as well, which is very good for team morale as well, team spirit. Retaining Marcus Ericsson and Felipe Nasr for a second year. So again, as I said before, team morale very, very important. So pre-season didn't really go as planned as what Sauber hoped for. You know, had some technical problems, some glitches, some engine problems, and I think that was pretty much the first signs of the fans saying, right, I think Sauber is going to have a very poor season. And I didn't get off to the best of starts as well, because Marcus Ericsson had a retirement, the first one of the season, and it was like, oh dear, this is going to be one of them seasons, isn't it? Yes, unfortunately it was, because Felipe Nasr finished in 15th in Australia, so not the best start that Sauber would have wanted after coming off the back of a very good 2015 season. In the next round, in the desert, or the desert in the dark, as they say, in Bahrain, you had Marcus Ericsson in 12th, Felipe Nasr in 14th. A better result for Sauber, but not good enough. At the third race in China, you had Marcus Ericsson in 16th, Felipe Nasr in 20th. In Russia, you had Marcus Ericsson in 14th, Felipe Nasr in 16th. At the first European race of the season, you had Marcus Ericsson in 12th and Felipe Nasr again in 14th. In Monaco, however, it was pretty bad. Let's say probably the worst Sauber had been, because I remember actually this moment happening, because to be fair, the worst thing that could happen within a team is two teammates hitting each other, and that is exactly what happened in Monaco, really. So both guys took each other out, which obviously, again, it's Monaco, it's tight, but at the same time, the team didn't really want that, so that was pretty, bad on their behalf. So double retirement in Monaco. Moving on to Canada, a little bit of a break from the European season. You had Marcus Ericsson in 15th, Felipe Nasr in 18th. At the newly formed European Grand Prix in Baku, you had Marcus Ericsson in 17th, Felipe Nasr in 12th. At the Austrian Grand Prix, you had Marcus Ericsson in 15th, Felipe Nasr in 13th, and at the British Grand Prix, Marcus Ericsson retired and Felipe Nasr was in 15th place. So again, no points scored so far this season. So Sauber, reliability problems were poor, the form wasn't there. So, and again, I think Sauber were just kicking themselves. And at Austria, the worst thing happened to that team. Manor scored their first point of the season, and that was like, Sauber were like, uh-oh, this isn't good for us, this isn't good for sponsorship, this isn't good for money, this is to be fair, that was the worst possible scenario Sauber could have been in. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, Marcus Ericsson was in 20th, Felipe Nasr was in 7th, had a retirement, and he was 17th, and at the German Grand Prix, Marcus Ericsson was 18th, Felipe Nasr had a retirement. So going into the summer break, not a good start for Sauber, not a good first half of the season. It was pretty much poor from day dot. I'm not one to judge or anything, because we're not based in that world of Formula One, but from a fan's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, it just wasn't good. Sauber should have been better. Yes, they were undergoing some financial problems at the time, but at the same time, they did have a new financial takeover, which didn't really make an effect straight away. Obviously the results show. I think both drivers were pretty much questioning themselves, questioning their ability, and I think the team were as well, because it was like, reliability has let us down a lot this season. Obviously having the Ferrari engine as well, which at the time, this season was actually quite good, reliable compared to what Honda and Renault were going. So again, Sauber could have done a little bit better. So judging by the first half of the season, LC, Sauber, as I said at the start of this episode, a very good 2015. So 2016 was pretty much like 2014 all over again, except with the same drivers from last season, which was a little bit complicated. So obviously, I'm not going to ask you how what's your opinion if they did good or bad, because we all know that they did bad. But what do you think Sauber were thinking going into the first and only summer break of the season, knowing that Manor had scored their first points? So do you think that would have been on Sauber's mind, or do you think they'll be going into it going, right, we need to graft, we need to get that point back really, and get some more to get that extra 20-30 million euros? What do you think about all that?
Well, I mean, obviously for the team, I imagine that they would be still pushing. Obviously, they won't be hanging their heads in shame. Obviously, still want to be in Formula One. I mean, Sauber obviously been in Formula One for a very long time, been under different names, and they obviously are an old soul compared to, I mean, you could even say Manor. If the tables had turned, But obviously, as a fan's perspective, JT, I mean, obviously just catch your mind back to some of the preview and the review sessions that we were doing. We were saying that Sauber 0 points. What's happening here? And we did it. We've done many debate shows and stuff like that where we've just, we haven't previews even. We haven't even bothered doing Sauber. We haven't even bothered doing Sauber because of obviously, they haven't scored any points. There's just no points whatsoever, and obviously JT's right. There's no point in asking if it's good or bad at the moment. And even that our mid-season report, our mid-season grades, because it'll just be double Fs for both drivers and the team also as well. I mean, obviously it was very disappointing from them.
Exactly.
I mean, what had happened? They need to really catch up. I always compare Sauber. Obviously, their amazing 2012 season, even 2013 was coming back in form. And then, as JT said, in the era of the V6 engines. If they've just they've never got it, they've never grasped it fully. But obviously, but now they're heading to Belgium, Spa, and they're in more of the endurance, the more the glitz and glamour, the second part of the season. What can they do? But they are now in last place, and obviously, Manor have scored their points in Austria, and what are they going to do? They need to get more than 1 point. I know that sounds strange to say, but 1 point, especially for them, is going to be hard to get. So they headed into Spa, which was round 13 in the first round after the summer break, and again it didn't get off to a fantastic start. Marcus Ericsson retired from the race, and Felipe Nasser finished in 17th position. Now it's pretty bad for the next few rounds, so I'll just give them a quick fire pace. So Marcus Ericsson finished 16th position in Monza, and it was a retirement for Nasser. Then we had 17th for Marcus Ericsson in Singapore, but a 13th for Felipe Nasser, which is a good finish for him. Obviously, he finished 13th in Austria, and he finished 12th, which was obviously his best finish, and he did that at the European Grand Prix. So his 13th at Singapore was very good, but obviously it didn't last very long. His joys of Singapore, he did a retirement in Malaysia, and then again Marcus Ericsson equals his best finish that he did in Australia, and he does a 12th position. Marcus Ericsson did a 15th position in Japan, and Felipe Baton in 19th. Then in USA, again, it was a very strong, consistent finish for them, but they weren't in the points, of course. 14th and 15th for both Sauber drivers. And then we roll on to Mexico, which now is Marcus Ericsson's best finish. He finishes 11th position, and as me and JT have said we've said before throughout the season, 11th is the worst position. Well, compared to 22nd, it's not, obviously. But 11th position, it's because obviously you are just outside, one position outside, obviously getting points for 10th place. Obviously, it's pretty bad for that. Marcus got a retirement in the final round, the penultimate round, in Brazil, but it wasn't a complete loss because now Sauber got a points finish in the shape of Brazilian driver, so the home race for Felipe Nasser, and because obviously, as you know, they're battling Manor, they didn't just get 1 point, they got 2 points. So obviously Felipe Nasser finished in 9th place and Sauber got 2 points, which JT, it now means that for 20 rounds, so 19 rounds even, Sauber have been at the bottom of the championship. Obviously they got beat by Manor at the Austrian Grand Prix, and then they've been at the bottom since, obviously 1 point down. Now they are back ahead of Manor with 2 points, obviously 1 point over Manor, and 2 points in the World Championship. That must be absolutely amazing. So they're now heading into the final event, and they are ahead. And as JD said, it's the money you get. You get a big payout. You get absolutely loads. Again, it's probably around, I think it's around $30 million US. So you get a lot of payout, a lot of money from obviously Bernie Ecclestone, from Liberty Media. I think it still does come through Bernie Ecclestone, but you get payout. Get sponsorship, you'll get recognised, and obviously, as we all know, Marcus Ericsson has been signed by Sauber. He's very much safe. We think Felipe Nasser might be, but at the time of recording, we're not really sure. But that will definitely have helped and obviously inspired them. They might finish ahead of Manor. You'll have to wait and see for the final event, and they do. Because obviously, even though it was a double no points finish, obviously for their drives, Marcus Ericsson finished in 15th position, and Felipe Nasser finished in 16th, so very low down, and it wasn't a points finish for them. It wasn't a points finish for Manor, which obviously is what they were hoping for, they wanted. So as we've said, they now they've finished the World Championship, they've finished the season, and they're in 10th place. They can relax. They are safe, they're ahead of Manor. It is lovely. It's plain sailing for Sauber JT. Or, well, I mean, is this as far as the season goes, obviously. But the thing is, though, right, okay,
Yeah.
Now with Sauber, okay, so obviously when the season
Yeah,
started, okay, you had, they were at the bottom. And as I said in the summer break, and as we've said in many previous debate shows, and as I've just said, we said, Sauber, you could almost rule them out. You were thinking, what's going on here? What can they do? Almost. But then you think Sauber, okay, they're not, obviously, since 2013, they fell back quite a bit. So this season, what were their real expectations? And I've got to say now, when I say Sauber in 10th place, okay, obviously they couldn't catch Renault, obviously, they could, but I think it was maybe a bit too, probably about 95% impossible, but obviously it wasn't, totally impossible, especially after it got to about halfway, maybe three quarters.
It was one race too late.
Way through the season, it was maybe a bit too much. But then, so you think, okay, JT. So here's a question that again we have never really asked ourselves, and I haven't really asked myself. I'm a bit miffed now actually. So JT, they've finished in 10th place. Obviously 2 points. Let's, you can kind of remember that, but I think people will more remember that they finished in 10th place, the penultimate off the back, but obviously they didn't finish at the back, they beat Manor. So JT, obviously 10th place, is this kind of where you expected Sauber to finish the season, or did you expect any higher? I mean, obviously it's good that they're not low, but is this, where did you expect them to finish this season? And is this a positive for Sauber to finish not at the back and obviously in 10th place and beating a main rival of theirs, obviously Russia, then Manor Russia, and now Manor? So obviously, is it a positive for them that they're beating their rivals and finished 10th place?
Yes. Well, at the start of the season, I thought Sauber would have maintained their form from 2015, because they had a good 2015, let's say, probably the best season they've had since 2012. So I thought, right, the good vibe is now back at Sauber. And then obviously as the season started progressing, went Australia, Bahrain, China, and probably about Monaco, I'm thinking, right, this isn't going to be that season, is it, for Sauber? And then once I knew about Manor scoring the points in Austria, I thought, right, I think this is going to be a little bit too difficult for Sauber to actually get the point. I didn't really rule them out for scoring points. I just didn't know when it was going to be. I didn't know how it was going to be, because I knew it wasn't going to be through sheer pace. It was just going to be through a lot of cars retiring, which is how Manor sort of, the car was good on the day, but in a way that did have some help. So I think Sauber needed some help from other drivers and obviously from teams, everything to enable themselves to score the points. And then once Brazil came around and actually managed to score the points, I was happy. Even though, yes, I do follow Manor, but at the same time, I don't want to see other teams struggling. I don't want to see Manor, Renault, Sauber struggling. So it is good. It was good to see that that they finally scored some points. But from a fan's perspective, on this, from the finishing 10th, it is a disappointing season. However, they changed that in Brazil from a bad season to a positive one, because they earned some extra money from finishing 10th place. Obviously beating Manor, which is for them it was their rival, so that was brilliant. That was Man United beating Manchester City at the last minute. Excellent goal. That was that's the vibe that was going on at the camp. Rumour has it they're still celebrating. So on the extra £1 million.
JT,
yes.
Well, JT, now that you say it's Man City v Man U, maybe it's two, conference or Sunday league teams. Maybe it's not that too high. It's
possibly,
Man U and Man City would be Man U and Man City would be Mercedes and Red Bull.
Yeah, I guess.
But
so.
I know where
you know where I'm coming from, but I think Sauber can maybe capitalise on this. As the time of recording, they've got Ericsson, they haven't got Nasser yet. But as I said, this is at the time of recording. Maybe when this video goes out, they've announced who will that second driver be. I understand they're going through a little bit of sponsorship problems with Felipe Nasr, but that's only rumours. I really don't know. Don't quote me on that. Don't count your chickens on that. So
nobody quotes JT.
Exactly, nobody quotes me anyway. Nobody even listens to me. Elsie doesn't even listen to us. When we go off camera, it's like,
what did you say?
Exactly, pretty much. What was that? What did we record just there? But anyways, yes. Positive season for Sauber. Let's see how next season comes along. Wider tyres, new everything, let's say, and hopefully we'll have a better season next season. So we're going to wrap up this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Don't forget to check out yesterday's video where we did Manor, funny enough, who finished last place. Don't forget to check out tomorrow's episode where we do the team in Mainstone, I think it's called, where we did Renault, Renault, who finished obviously above Sauber. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you later, guys.
See you tomorrow, guys.